So, the linebacker position is probably, I got to say, one of the weakest positions on this team. Okay, now it's only weak because there's so much unknown with the position as of right now. If we're trying to find that other piece that's, not named Nakobe Dean, and obviously we'll talk about every player and why the Eagles might have to make a trade or sign somebody at some point if, things don't turn out well in Eagles training camp. We know the Eagles are not high on linebacker. We know that they don't like to pay linebackers. We know that they don't draft linebackers high, and I think we know that. And we didn't draft a linebacker this past year. So there's a lot of reason to that and what I think could happen down the road with that during training camp and whether, their Eagles are going to have to make a change at the position or whatnot. So I want to go through all of that news and, let's get straight into it all.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
I don't want to say that the linebacker position is necessarily a bad position for the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? I don't want to say that there's nothing here because there's just a lot of unknown, I think what made, the Eagles make the right decision even going into this year with Nakobe Dean really being, redshirted last year. They knew that Nakobe Dean was going to be a starter this year, which, took a lot out of the equation of getting more pieces. Obviously, Nicholas Morrow, 116 tackles for the Bears last year. Obviously, the Bears were the worst team last year, so not really the best on coverage, not really the best on what Sean Desai wants, but it comes to obviously, a good run defender, can blitz the gap really nicely. So I feel like, Nicholas Morrow has more of the chance to be that counterpiece for Nakobe Dean. And look, when we talk about Nakobe Dean, the flashes that we've seen from him last year, when he was in certain games like the Tennessee game and a few other games that he really flashed so much, but he really sat in the room with Nick Rallis, the linebacker coach last year, and really was a sponge and kind of took everything in. And I didn't think, I don't think that TJ Edwards was a bad linebacker. Kaiser White was probably the worst one, and I felt like Kaiser White had a really good offseason, and then he just really dropped. He had a couple deflections for some picks, I think one or two deflections for some picks, but, I didn't really see so much in Kaiser White. And then when Kaiser White had that ankle injury, I was like, oh my God, they're going to play Nakobe Dean. Let Nakobe Dean get some playing time. I was actually praying for it. Not that I pray for injury or anything, but I kind of want Nakobe Dean to get some snaps last year, so we're kind of starting over again. Nakobe Dean hasn't played in a game, not a full game at least. He's a special teamer and obviously has gotten his chances, and man, like Nakobe Dean on the one arm tackle in Tennessee. That Tennessee game was a big one, a big eye opener because he was making tackles, he was in coverage. They're going to do a lot of different things with him, but when it comes to Nicholas Morrow, as much as I feel like this could be a good tandem, there's nothing set in stone right now. There's too much unknown at that position. And then really other than that, and because Nicholas Morrow is nothing promising right now, because like I said, we haven't seen anything, there is really nothing behind this linebacker core. There's nothing here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be weak at this position. I feel like there could be a move down the road, maybe. But even... You got the undrafted free agent Ben Van Sumeren from Michigan State, which he's, he would have been second in the 40 time. I think, top 5 in testing. I mean, he's a very athletic freak. The problem is, he just needs more work on technique and stuff at the linebacker position. So, you can't put too much on an undrafted free agent. And if he decides to make some noise, then great. Patrick Johnson could play defensive end, outside linebacker. So I'm not even a big fan of putting him at linebacker. No way. Kyron Johnson, unfortunately for him, and I was a big fan of Kyron Johnson coming out of Kansas because I felt like Kyron Johnson should have been more of an edge guy. I know he was maybe a little undersized. He ran like a 4.3, really good speed, maybe undersized, but the Senior Bowl was fantastic. I mean, he he was just manhandling linemen 3 times his size in the Senior Bowl, and he was doing such a good job. And he had that, that pushback attitude, that fight attitude, which I really did like. He took no crap from anybody. Like, that's the attitude I really did like on Kyron, but unfortunately he's been dealing with injuries, and the guy came and stepped on the field, whether it's just special teams, and that's really it. I don't know. The Eagles still have Kyron Johnson, that outside linebacker. I don't know if they're going to keep him there. They might move him to defensive end. I'm not really sure, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Davion Taylor was obviously a 3rd-round pick for the Eagles a few years back, and, he had a lot of bad times, but I thought 21, he played very, very, very well. I thought the tandem of T.J. Edwards and Davion Taylor were so good. He was making tackles all over the place. I mean, he was just a tackling machine. He was playing really well until like week 10. The Eagles had the bye week. Davion Taylor had a knee injury, and then he didn't come back the rest of the year, and then he got hurt again going into the 22 season last year. So, hey, he's just been hurt, and I think this is like the end of the line for him right now, unless he really steps up. But like I said, there's nothing promising. And like I said, of all the backups we have right now, Davion Taylor would be that backup for us, because he's had starting experience before out of really anybody else. Patrick Johnson has, but he played the edge at, they put him on the defensive line at defensive end. So that's really it. It's a weak position right now. I think linebacker is definitely weaker than safety. I think what's saving safety, like we said the other day, is really Sidney Brown, and if they really want to make a play for Budda Baker. But I feel like it's still good with Reed Blankenship getting that sample size and getting that full offseason as a potential starter, and getting Terrell Edmonds, which not really great on the crazy with the tackling. He's not really the best tackler, but as a ball hawk, and if the corners do their job, I think there's a lot more uprise in the safety spot right now, and the competition's a lot better. Here, it's like Nakobe Dean, I'm okay with Nicholas Morrow, and then that's really it. And I'm not even saying Nicholas Morrow's going to make the team. I'm not even saying he's going to start. You know what I mean? So there are moves the Eagles can make, and I feel like they have to add one more body to linebacker. I feel like there's something still there they need to do. If you want to go trade for an Isaiah Simmons, now I understand, like, why would you want to trade for a linebacker? Well, Isaiah Simmons and Patrick Queen are 2 players that are on the last years of their contracts, okay? And their cap hits are really low. So if the Eagles feel like one of these 2 players, and not saying they have to extend them immediately, but if you want to take over with 1 more year left on their deals and they're very cheap, then go make that move. I think Patrick Queen would fit in immediately, and kind of avenge his career a little bit with the Eagles with a good defense around him. I think Patrick Queen would play very well. And if you want to go one bigger, trading for Isaiah Simmons, another guy that, might be asking to leave Arizona, because it seems like everybody's asking to leave Arizona at this point. Isaiah Simmons is that hybrid, which you can move him all over the place. And I would actually rather have him, to be honest with you, but Patrick Queen would be great too. I like guys that can move around the field in case for different matchups or injuries. One player can play 2 positions, you know what I mean? So for Isaiah Simmons, I think it would be a very good fit in Philadelphia. But how much is it going to cost? It really shouldn't cost much to get Patrick Queen or Isaiah Simmons. Maybe a little bit more for Isaiah Simmons, but I mean, for Patrick Queen, like, I would say maybe a 5th-round pick would maybe really get it done. So Nakobe Dean is like the main focal point of this linebacker core that really needs to work out. I think we all know this. And like I said, he just hasn't had enough playing time, and I need to see more. And I'm not saying that Nakobe Dean is trash. I'm not saying he's garbage. I'm not saying he's not going to do anything this year. I'm not saying he's a bust or anything like that. I feel, obviously getting him in the 3rd round was a total steal. I think Nakobe Dean has a chip on his shoulder, and I feel like, yeah, he's going to prove himself. And I feel like good things are going to happen with Nakobe Dean. I feel like he's going to make a lot of tackles for us. I feel like he's going to be on the Philadelphia Eagles for a long time. It's unfortunate that he kind of had to waste last year. I mean, not really waste. At least he got some playing time last year, so I can't really bitch about it too much. But this is a weak group of guys right now. And I like I said, like, yes, I could say, oh, Davion Taylor could maybe fight for a spot. It's just not enough for me. It's not enough when guys keep getting injured, and how much you're going to put on an undrafted free agent and Ben Van Sumeren from Michigan State. You can't put much pressure on a guy like that that's going to really do anything. So, and he's undrafted. So how much can I think how much do I think he's really going to do until I actually see it? Patrick Johnson, it's just this group is just not enough. It's just not enough. They need to add another piece, so I feel like if you could make a trade, go make a trade. But, the linebacker core, like I said, it's a transition. If we didn't have Nakobe Dean, then I could say the Eagles would have made somewhat of a move, or might have drafted somebody mid-rounds. Maybe their draft would have been different just a little bit. But like I said, they don't pay linebackers. They don't draft linebackers high. And, they didn't even draft one late round this year. You know what I mean? Even with Patrick Johnson, he was a 6th, 7th round pick from Tulane. And that was really the last linebacker I think we drafted. and he's now really more of a defensive end than he is an outside linebacker. You know what I mean? So they're turning these defensive ends more to outside linebackers now, or that could play both. But Kyron Johnson, Patrick Johnson, both guys are playing outside linebacker at least Kyron Johnson's playing outside linebacker right now, and I think he would be better, maybe should work on cross-training to defensive end. Davion Taylor's just been hurt so much and would be a nice backup piece for us, but the guy just can't stay healthy at this point. So if he could stay healthy, he might have a roster spot. And that's a big what if. And I think the main focal point is going to be how well Nakobe Dean does, and secondly, Nicholas Morrow and his transition onto another team. And Nicholas Morrow, even years back when he was drafted, he was a safety coming into the NFL, and he was transformed into a linebacker. You know what I mean? So he's got really good speed. He can hit the gap really well. His blitzing is really good. His tackling is pretty good. Coverage is iffy. It's been good, it's been bad, so he's not perfect. So what Sean Desai wants with this defense is going to be huge for us. So like I said, let me know what you guys think just about this group in general, and there'll be a lot to talk about there. Now I have one more thing to talk about today, and that is I don't know why it's not showing up on my screen, but as the big play Slay and the Matt Patricia stuff that's going on. Obviously Matt Patricia became the Eagles defensive assistant. A lot of Eagles fans were not happy about this. I really wasn't. Not because he's going to be a cancer, or I just never really liked him in general. I've just never really been really a fan of him, to be honest, because he just doesn't know how to be a player's coach, and I think that was even when he became the head coach of his own team after leaving the Patriots, and he just didn't do a great job. And obviously Slay and him had a big difference. He was treated horribly, and so new news came out with Slay on the relationship, and these two men are grown men. They need to grow up. If they don't like each other, as long as they're both here, they want the same goal. They want to win a Super Bowl. He wants to coach to win a Super Bowl, and Slay wants to play and win a Super Bowl. So they have the same mindset. They're on the same side right now. But he's an assistant. He's not like he's the defensive coordinator. It's not like he's some. You know what I mean? It's no big deal, at the end of the day. But Slay did have some comments recently, a couple of days ago, on, they're very civil towards each other. There's no bad blood. There's no nothing. Like, what's said is what's said, man, on a professional level. You might take it, and Slay's the type of guy that doesn't stray away from saying things on his mind. I think we all know this by now. A lot of people weren't happy with Slay this offseason when he was just going to leave the Eagles and he almost signed with Baltimore. People were pissed off, and I was a little pissed myself. And at the same time, I could see why, maybe the Eagles had no interest. I don't know, between that whole thing that was going on. But it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You never know. Matt Patricia could be, Nick Sirianni is a big fan of Matt Patricia. Maybe Matt Patricia is, as an assistant, defensive assistant, I think he'll do really well. Now, I don't know as a defensive assistant. I think he's just... What position group is he working with? Is he working with the whole? I guess he's working with the whole entire defense. But as an assistant to, Sean Desai is one of his assistants. He's not a positional coach, So he's not only working with one position. I think he's just working with the whole entire defense, helping. Obviously, during the season, he'll help with Sean Desai. I guess, plan out their defenses against offenses they're facing every single week, which is a whole nother thing. So, and Matt Patricia was a good defensive coordinator for a long time, for the Patriots. And then by the end of his, obviously with a lot of players leaving and, you can only do so much when you're in a coach and your GM's not making the moves that he has to make. And obviously the Patriots are on a full rebuild right now. So back in those days with Tom Brady being there, the defenses were great at points. But I'm more comfortable with it now. In the beginning, I was like, but now I feel fine. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything like, look, if there was news or if there was something going on, or if they had an argument, it would have happened already. We would have already known about it. So I wouldn't really make a big deal out of it. So that's really the news on them. They're both fine. Everybody was kind of worried about this situation going down between these two, and I have no issue with it. I think it worked out really well. So that's really about it. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I definitely want to know from your guys' opinion on what do you think about the linebacker core in general. Do you think it's the weakest position on our team, to be honest, besides special teams, which we know about special teams. But besides special teams, do you think the linebacker core is the weakest position? Do you think the Eagles need to make another move? Do you think this is enough? Do you think Nicholas Morrow is going to be a nice tandem with Nakobe Dean, or do you think it's just... You think he's just not going to be good enough for Sean Desai's system? And obviously, not only are these linebackers going to be in coverage, but you're going to have the defensive ends drop in coverage. You're going to be moving guys around. So can't wait to see what this defense is going to look like as the final product going into training camp. Well, not really going to training camp, but going into the regular season, or what they have these guys do during these preseason games as well. Should be a lot of fun. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So if you last this long in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. We have more videos every single day. Once training camp hits, guys, we'll be covering every day of training camp, what's going on, every lineup, every, depth piece, you name it, who's making plays, all that great stuff. So definitely stick around for that. And yeah, you guys, I know we're on a waiting stage for training camp and doing our thing, but you never know what could happen. Moves can be made before training camp if necessary, if Howie Roseman wants to, be a little aggressive. He's had a fantastic offseason. It's been great. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. And guys, remember, tomorrow, or by the time you watch this, will probably be the same day. Tonight we will have a special stream with a certain individual as a guest, and should be a lot of fun. And can't wait for you to join up, and definitely join that up, and definitely celebrate with us. Well, not celebrate, but, we're just going to talk football. That's just the way it is. So you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, Shakes what up, follows live. Peace out, guys. Peace.